Today's date is September 21st, 2010, and this is a We Are Duck Hunters weather, crop, and migration report for the prairie regions of Canada. Today we're going to concentrate on the crop and weather conditions over the past several days and also take a look at what we have in store for the future by relating it to how it will affect waterfowl migration for the upcoming week. Because crop conditions and waterfowl food source availability combined with weather is the key factor in waterfowl migration, that will be our focus for today. Here's an image displaying the amount of precipitation over the past 30 days for the prairie region. Saskatchewan's in the middle, Alberta's on the left, and Manitoba is on the right. The blue, purple, and pink areas represent where there has been the most precipitation over the past month, with the pink and purple areas showing the most concentrated areas of rainfall. Anywhere that you see blue is around 4 inches of precipitation for the month, where purple areas represent around 10 inches of rainfall, which is an absurd amount of rain for 1 month's time span. This is an image of Saskatchewan only, and as you can see, it has been getting nailed over the last 30 days. The farmers cannot catch a break. It has been consistent rain since April, and a lot of the farmers are wondering if they will be able to get their crops out at all this season. As you can see, the east side of the province has been hit the hardest. The west side is not good, but it's faring better than the east. The south has been wet, but due to warmer temperatures, farmers have been able to harvest the highest percentage of grains than anywhere else. Also, the province has harvested around 13% of grains, about 35% below the long-term average for this time of year. Here is a map of Saskatchewan split into regions. Southeast has harvested around 22% of grains, the southwest around 25%, east central around 9%, west central around 7%, northwest around 6%, and northeast around 8%. The southern portion of the province has harvested the most due to warmer conditions over the past 30 days. I think your highest probability to find huntable fields is going to be in the central, west, and southwest portions of the province, as the east side has absolutely been pounded with rain. Some areas around east central Saskatchewan, shown on the map as 5B and 5A, were not even able to seed this year, and for that reason, there's a lot of fields with no grain and just mud. Not to mention, areas around Yorktown have reported only 1% of fields harvested, so if they do have crops in, they can't even get them out, and the only form of field hunting is in the muddy fields that were never planted. Migration-wise, we have reports of cranes and snows showing up on the Saskatchewan-Alberta border just south of Kendersley. The snow goose migration is about 2 weeks ahead of schedule, and there are reports of huntable numbers of snow geese province-wide. As snow geese had an unbelievable hatch this year, with a juvie to mature ratio of 1.5 to 1. There's also a ton of local Canada geese and ducks in the region. Canadas have just started to migrate due to the recent cold snap up north last week. Portions of the province drop below freezing at night, but not enough to freeze up any bodies of water for a significant amount of time. So overall, no significant amount of migration activity being reported, but the local birds are very active. On a positive note, the upcoming week is supposed to dry up and warm up, with the exception of a few showers for tomorrow. By the end of the week, temperatures should reach into the high 70s with blue skies. What does this mean? Well, it will cause some of the early migrating snow geese to head back north for a little bit. Not to worry though, as the cold front will push them back to the south, increasing snow goose hunter success rates once again for Saskatchewan. Alberta has also experienced cool and wet conditions over the past several weeks, which has delayed harvests in the southern portion of the province another 2 to 3 weeks, while the Peace region has had much drier conditions and therefore on schedule to harvest. The majority of high hunter success rates have been reported in the pea fields in Alberta just north of Edmonton. You can still have successful hunts to the south, but it's going to take a lot more effort to do so. Fields are tougher to access, roads are bogged down, and there are very few fields that are huntable because the harvest percentages are so low. Central Alberta is the worst with only 4% of the grain fields harvested, while the far south of the province has reported around 9% of fields harvested. In terms of migration, Alberta has started to see the beginning of the Canada goose migration, and they're starting to see some of the snow geese in huntable numbers on the eastern portion of the province. Hunts over the past week have been pretty good due to the cold, wet weather. The upcoming warm weather will probably create a dip in hunter success, but it is much needed as the farmers really need to start getting their crops out. I would gladly give up a week of cold, wet, ducky weather for the opportunity to open some fields to hunt in the future. The warm, dry weather is a welcome for the prairie regions of Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba. It will most likely slow down bird activity, but it will hopefully give the farmers a much-needed break to get their crops out. I know that a lot of the northern states have experienced some early goose migration over the past week, but this will most likely come to a halt due to the warm, dry weather expected in Canada. If you do see any high-flying geese coming from the north, you will know that it is due solely to hunting pressure and not because of the weather. This report was made possible by the following people: